G'day mates, in today's video I'm going to be talking about the prize pools that just got announced for the Elite Weekly Cup Finals and the Zero Build Squad Finals, why the pros were originally really excited about this, but once you start breaking down the numbers, it's actually a significant drop in prize pool from last season. I want to talk about why this might be and what it means, and why I think it might be leading to potentially a big event like a Winter Royale. I also want to talk about who Luda's new duo mate is going into the Invitational, because it's someone I guarantee you didn't expect. Let's kick off talking about the prize pool. We have the Elite Weekly Cup Finals prize pools announced, and when they first got announced, everyone was really excited, myself included. When you take a first glance at it, it looks really good, and the prize pool is really good. First place on EU is going to walk away with $10,000, that's $5,000 each. The last season's weekly duo cash cup finals, only $2,500. So that is 4 times the amount of the regular duo cash cups. Prizes are going to go all the way down to top 40. That's standard for EU, but if you look at the other regions are going down to top 40 as well, which has never happened before. Even OCE top 40 are going to walk away with money, the smallest region. That is incredible. But it's when you compare this prize pool to the last season's prize pool for FNCS, things look a little bit less exciting, and this is where pros started to get a bit upset. I'm going to break down exactly how the prize pool works in a second. Let's just break this down. So chapter 3 season 3 FNCS, the overall prize pool was $3 million across the 7 regions. This Elite Weekly Cup Finals across the 7 weeks across the 7 regions is only $1.24 million. So it is less than half the FNCS prize pool. You got to remember, last season there were also cash cups every single week on top of that $3 million. There was late game cups, there's a whole bunch of extra stuff going on. This season we've had confirmed there is going to be no FNCS. So I think a lot of people were expecting that prize pool to be redistributed amongst their weekly cup finals. A lot of people assumed that it wasn't a budget thing, the reason why we don't have an FNCS. It was more of a timing thing. There just wasn't a lot of time before the Invitational, so they're going to run these weekly cups, but they're going to feel more special. And while the prize pool on them is pretty good, it's once you start to look into it a little bit deeper, it starts to get sketchy. Now, mind you, remember Epic did mention they are bringing back late game cups later in the season. There's going to be content creator cups. There's going to be more than this $1.24 million prize pool, but same with last season, there was more than that $3 million prize pool. So right now, unless we get some kind of like a Winter Royale or something this season or next season, the prize pool is going to be considerably less. Let's break down some of the specifics of the prize pool. Like I said, EU, first place is going to get $10,000, second gets $5,400, third place gets $3,600, top 10 gets $1,800, top 25 gets $900, and top 40 gets $600. That makes sense for the most part. That's going pretty thin down into the bottom end. $600 for coming anywhere from 26th to 40th is pretty crazy, but it's when you look at the other regions, things get a little bit sketchier. NA East is the only other region that has its own prize pool. First is $5,000, second is $2,400, third is $1,600, top 10 is $800, and then top 40 is $400. So that means if you're coming 11th and 40th, you are getting the exact same prize pool. If you thought that was weird, wait until I show you the other regions. Every single other region, so NA West, Brazil, Middle East, Asia, and OCE all have the same prize pool. First place $2,500, second place $1,200, third place $800, and then top 40 $400. If you come 4th or 40th, you are getting the exact same prize pool. I don't have to explain to you why that's probably not a good idea. It's just not insanely competitive as it is. You should be rewarding the top players, at least in my opinion, on the PC track. This is the main competitive pool. This isn't like what I talk about with console, where I say the money should be spread more thin. This is PC, it should be at the top. But this is going to lead to a lot of griefing. If you're 3 games in and you're in 30th, you have almost no chance of getting top 3, and you've already got the same money. You know you're going to stay inside top 40. What's to stop you just from griefing because you don't like someone in first place? What's to stop you just not playing? You've already secured the max amount of prize money you can. Obviously, I would like to hope the competitive integrity is high enough where people are going to take these tournaments seriously, because they should be really good. The way the format works is they are going to be very fun to watch, and they're going to be great practice, but what are they practicing for? If this is the last season that has a duo FNCS, next season might be trios. If you can just secure your top 40 every single week, you're gonna get a really, really good consistent bag without having to grind for that top 1 or 2. I know it sounds crazy, because again, Fortnite pros should want to be the best in the world and playing every day and trying their hardest, but if you ever looked at a pro or talked to a pro at the moment, you know that just isn't the case. A lot of them are motivated by money, and right now, if money is your only motivation for these tournaments, the way you're gonna play is gonna be a bit interesting. Also, these tournaments aren't region locked, so getting like a top 40 on multiple regions could be a way to secure really, really good money. Obviously as well, a lot of other regions are quite upset. The fact that NA West, with its size of players, is getting the same prize pool as OCE does have a lot of people upset. I don't have to explain this. The top 40th player on OCE is probably not going to be the same caliber as the 4th best player on NA West. Like, that just doesn't make a lot of sense. So I think Epic's tried something new. Originally, when the prize pools were announced, people were quite excited, but once we started looking into a little bit more, it started to get a bit sketchier. But it's not all about the regular build tournaments. There are also the no build cash cups who have had their prize pool announced, and it's looking pretty juicy. The zero build prize pool is pretty stacked, but it does also have a couple issues as well. The main one being that it is all the same across every region. EU is getting the same prize pool as OCE, and I don't need to tell you with the differences in player size, that doesn't make a lot of sense. But let's break it down outside of that. So every single region gets this prize pool. Remember, this is squads, so top 10 squads out of 25 are gonna get money. So that's a lot harder to get into than top 40 duos out of 50 duos, but you're only getting extra prize money if you get top 3. If you come 4th and you come 10th, you're on the exact same amount of prize pool. And after you get top 3, it doubles from 4th to 3rd. Obviously, this is each, so once you break it up 4 ways, it isn't as much. You're only getting $150 for getting 10th, but it's still very, very interesting to see how the Epic is doing their prize pools. They are making a lot more participation heavy. I don't really understand their logic of giving so much prize pool to the smaller regions. I don't know if they're gonna try and see if that kind of like boosts up the smaller regions and increases their player size. And if so, it could be an interesting experiment. There is a very good argument to be made that some of the smaller regions are only getting smaller because they're getting less and less prize pools. So there's less reason to take it seriously. If you're playing on OCE and you can't get top 3, you're not making any money. So of course, you're not really grinding the game as much anymore. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out into things. And it kind of leads me into the next conversation I want to have, which is this season, at least competitively, it feels like a fill. This feels like a filler season. It feels like a season where they were like, we have the invitational, this long season just ended, we've got this like weird 7 or 8 weeks we have to play around with. Let's just try this. Let's try this new Elite Cup format. Let's try this new prize pool. Let's try giving the small regions more. You see what I mean? They're testing a lot of different things. And what has me potentially quite excited is I don't think this season, but next season is kicking off in early December. It would be the perfect time to put on a Winter Royale. We have not had a Winter Royale in quite a while, and if they're saving their money competitively, because from my calculations, this season is going to be roughly $1 to $2 million cheaper in prize pool, I don't know, maybe the Winter Royale. I mean, obviously $1 million of that is going to the invitational prize pool, you have to imagine as well. But right now, especially coming into Christmas and winter, I feel like Epic missed the mark a little bit with the summer season. They didn't really, jump on the hype train of that. I would love to see them do something really big for winter. I don't know, maybe just my thought, maybe I'm just being hopeful, but I can see a few holes in the prize pool that need to go somewhere. A little bit of a follow-up from yesterday's video where I talked about how Volks has been banned for teaming and has lost his invitational spot. It looks like our question of who is going to be playing with Luda has been answered, and it's not what I predicted. I predicted it'd be one of the OCE fills like Jinx. They're both power, they'd step in, they'd play together. Turns out it is an OCE pro, but one that hasn't played an OCE for a while. It's Muzz. We have Muzz tweeting out that he is going to be playing an FNCS Invitational with Luda, which is going to be really interesting to see because Muzz and Luda have played together a lot in the past. They were the original PSG TNA trio that went over to NA to compete together with Speedy. Muzz had a lot more success than Luda, but Luda has gone back to OC and dominated, so Muzz and Luda could be a really, really good pairing. The thing that does confuse me a little bit is when they did play with Speedy, Speedy was obviously the IGL. I believe Luda has picked up some more of those IGL skills since he has stopped playing with Speedy, but Luda and Muzz could be a very interesting duo, and I love the fact that it's still an OCE duo. It would have felt a bit weird if Luda picked up a fill from another region, because then if they did well, everyone would still be like, oh, OCE sucks, Luda got carried. Same as usual. You guys have heard it before, so I'm really, really excited to see how Muzz and Luda go. All right, guys, you know the deal. Chuck a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one.